All right, guys. We are now a 4-4 team.
Yeah.
I got to watch it with my very own eyes today, and I'll tell you,
Not any better in person.
I I can honestly say I do not believe this is a championship team. I don't. I think that we're an okay team. We're a mediocre team. We can beat the teams that aren't good. We can beat. We can't beat average Steeler team at home. We can't score 16 points at home against the Steelers. And I think I tweeted it out. Trash play calling by Kevin Stefanski. It's definitely something you can say. Final stats. Total yards, 300. We gave up 370 yards. We gave up 21 first downs. 21. They were 4 of 13 on third down. We were 3 of 10, and I don't know what the fourth down was, but
And we knocked out their kicker so that they had to go for it twice on fourth down because they had nobody to kick an extra point. And they would have not had a kicker in the final 2 minutes either if we had gotten the ball back. We had, if we had made it 17-16, they would have had a chance to win it, but they didn't have a kicker. And
yeah.
And then we chose not to kick it to make it, 15-13 with 2 minutes and all of our timeouts and the wind in our direction, forcing them to punt into the wind. We could have had the ball close to the 40-yard line with, say, a minute and a half to go.
Yep.
And with no timeouts, but all we need is a field goal with the wind. And Stefanski decided not to do that. He'd rather risk 4th and 12 or 13, whatever it was. Maybe it was 15 because didn't somebody jump off sides when it was 3rd and 10 and they made it 4th and 15 when they jumped offside after the incomplete pass. Jarvis fumbling, Jarvis not catching balls, Odell not being a factor. Chubb was okay, but not his usual self. The offensive line didn't open up holes. They didn't control the ball. Other than, they had the first nice drive, and then Hooper drops the ball. Now, granted, it was a high pass, but it
hit him in the hands.
It hit him in the hands, and it went right through 2 of his hands. So, and he had, distance between him and the defender and the goal line. He could have scored, and we wind up having to take 3 points. So, it very disappointing. I thought our team was better than that. I thought we'd rebound. Now we got to get ready for Cincinnati, who had a bad game against the Jets. So we can, celebrate a little bit that way. But, they're going to come out trying to knock us off like Pittsburgh did. So Case Keenum might have played better than Baker. But again, if the guys drop the ball, it doesn't matter who's throwing it. So maybe different patterns. He missed a couple of wide open guys thrown at the guys that were covered.
Yep.
So he clearly was not sharp, had missed a week, obviously, and he's dealing with whatever pain he has in his shoulder.
Yeah.
Stefanski, if he was a super duper coach, he probably would have benched him, put Case Keenum in.
I think the problem, best impact hit it. Jarvis dropped 3 and had a fumble.
Yeah.
Baker, was Baker perfect? No, but he also wasn't terrible.
Right.
And there was a lot of drop passes. Hooper.
Yeah, Ben didn't make any mistakes really.
We didn't capitalize. We had an interception that hit us in the hands.
A couple of them
didn't catch.
Yeah.
One of the touchdowns that they had, we could have stopped.
The last one they threw, the guy catches it falling out of bounds and taps 2 feet to get the touchdown on 4th down. We would have got the ball back and we would have been leading by a point. No, that was not meant to be.
I will tell you that having watched it with my own eyes, not watching it on television, watching it with my own eyes, there were a couple times where guys were wide open. I mean, when I say wide open, I mean wide. There's not a guy within a 10-yard radius of our guy.
Yeah, and Baker doesn't throw it.
Higgins was open. There was a 10-yard radius. And then we didn't throw it to him. We threw it towards, I want to say Jarvis, and he didn't catch it. And then the next play went to Higgins, and Higgins couldn't catch it. But he was so disgustingly open that it hurts. It hurts my heart because I love Baker.
Yeah.
And I think I want nothing more than for us to have a great quarterback because we've had so many bad ones. But what I think we have is an average quarterback. That's it. We have an average quarterback.
Well, he's average when he's hurt like this. I think last year he showed that he wasn't average.
Yeah, but elite.
He could play.
I think what I'm asking for is elite. And elite is Pat Mahomes. Elite is a guy who can throw 50 touchdowns a year. Right. Baker Mayfield's not going to throw 50 touchdowns a year. He might not even throw 30. He might not throw 30 in a season. And that's not good enough. And I think that for all the great catches that Odell and Jarvis have made in their career, it really just comes down to like 1 week at a time. And they have to make those catches. And both Odell and Jarvis, although they're elite athletes, they are past their prime. And when you get into your upper 20s and you've had a couple injuries like Jarvis has had, like Odell has had, you go from your body being able to get you through a lot of it. And those guys have been better than every person that they've played against on the football field for the vast majority of their life. And now there are guys that are better than them that are younger. And so when that's the case, they have to be it's almost like you can't make a mistake at this point. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we are witnessing dropped passes in critical times that result in losses, right? I mean, the Steelers didn't drop passes.
Yeah, Ben didn't play all that great, but he didn't play bad. He didn't throw any bad interceptions. He got away with a couple of tip balls that could have been intercepted that weren't. So the luck was running with him there. He got sacked a couple of times. But he found guys open, and he found guys that were wide open with guys 10 yards beyond him, and these guys are catching it in the open field. And of course, in my opinion, that last slant that Roethlisberger threw that's put the game away, that's inexcusable. The guy should have been up on the guy from the line of scrimmage, make him run past you, make him catch the ball in traffic. Don't give him a cushion of 10 yards and then watch him fly by you on the inside. I mean, I could have made that pass. That's how wide open the guy was and how easy it was. So, granted, maybe they thought they were going to run, but you can't count on that. The good players make the good plays at the right time, and Roethlisberger and whoever caught that pass did, and that put the game out of sight. We had no shot after that. Game over. And it didn't have to be that way. It really didn't have to be that way.
We couldn't score 16 points against a mediocre Steelers team at home. Right. And
one touchdown.
We had at least 2 shots.
Right.
We had 2 shots, and then they got the ball back, and we had 3 timeouts, and we couldn't stop them. We were done at that point. The defense didn't want to try to win the game.
We got the ball back at the 40-yard line. It went 3 and out.
Yeah. I mean, you get the ball at the 40-yard line, you can't move it. And
in a critical second half. It wasn't in the first half. It was the second half.
No. Guys, I hate to tell you this. And I realized this, I think, pretty early on in the season. Certainly after the Cardinals, this is not an elite team. This is a team with players that should be good on paper, but a team that is not that good. And it's the unfortunate thing because I think we all deserve it, and I think we all want it.
Well, the other
There's so many fans there tonight that we're dying for it.
We're not elite, but we could be very good. But when you lose your key players, like we've lost on defense, even though we only gave up 15 points today, that hurts. We didn't really lose anybody on offense other than Hunt, and Chubb was there if he could have done his normal thing, but he couldn't. The running plays were not. He had a couple that he had possibility of breaking, but then didn't. A lot of stuff's right at the line of scrimmage, or guys coming up from corners or safeties and making the tackle on him. Guys not blocking who they should be blocking. So, if we have all of our players and they're all playing well, yeah, we're a pretty good team. But we haven't seen that all season. I mean, we've struggled every game from game one to this one. It's 8 games that we've seen this now, and as the injuries pile up, our chances of making the playoffs go down and down, because you can't get to the playoffs by moving people up. Practice squad.
But even the thing is, like, when you get to the playoffs,
yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, like, what are we gonna be, like the Washington football team last year? We would make it, and it's like, well, congratulations, you get one game.
Right.
I mean,
you're a 8-9 team.
No, you got to be healthy. Team. Like the Buccaneers last year, they were healthy. They had the home game. It was just this year it's the other thing is, like, it's a West Coast Super Bowl. It's in LA. I mean, I don't know, guys. It's really disheartening because there's I saw it for firsthand, guys. Firsthands. We got people that want it.
We didn't put enough pressure on Roethlisberger to rattle him, and that's when he plays bad. Is when he gets rattled and he gets forced and he pushes the ball. And I think we blitzed that. I could see outright blitz where the safety comes up and just charges, and they still didn't get to him. Maybe 2 times. So with that kind of lack of pressure. And that's a winning formula based on what the Ravens do, and they have the number 1 defense, or has for several years. They blitz a lot, and a guy like Roethlisberger or Aaron Rodgers or Mahomes, or Kyle Murray, they're going to pick you apart if you give them the time. Baker had time today, and Baker, unfortunately threw to wrong people. He threw high, behind, and then when he did throw it halfway accurately and to an open guy, they dropped the ball. Not every time.
What the sad thing is, though? Like, if you think about it, I mean, we saw Case Keenum win a game against a very below average Broncos team.
Right.
Would anybody want to be excited about going to watch a Browns game with Case Keenum? Well, we had Case Keenum. We had Case Keenum for 20 years as a Browns quarterback. We had plenty of Case Keenums. And
he's a serviceable quarterback.
He's a backup
on a good team.
He's a backup quarterback,
and he could have won that game today.
Maybe,
obviously, it's 20/20 hindsight, but he could have.
Maybe if he would have, maybe his softer arm would have gotten like the ball, so Jarvis wouldn't drop it.
On who's open and who
isn't. The fumble from Jarvis. I mean,
that hurt.
Guys, like we lost the turnover battle. We lost the 3rd down battle. We lost the 4th down battle. We lost it all. We lost the game. We got out-coached. We got outplayed.
The refs didn't really screw us this time, but didn't need to. We sort of gave it away ourselves without a really good effort. It'd be interesting to see what Stefanski says in the post game, what Baker says. Jarvis, probably they're not going to interview him because all he can say is, "I'm sorry, I dropped the ball." Or
this was dropped pass game.
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, is Baker elite? I don't think so. Is he serviceable? Yes. Our wide receivers? Our wide receivers were elite.
Right.
Back in like
2015.
2014. 2015, Jarvis and Odell are unstoppable. Jarvis Landry catching 100 passes a year for the Dolphins. Odell Beckham catching the ball with one hand. Guys, we have old Jarvis and old Odell. And that's not good enough. And the sad thing is, with Higgins and Schwartz, we don't have good enough like other wide receivers. We had a chance to get DK Metcalf in the draft and did not draft him.
Yeah, nobody stepped up today. Usually when a team needs somebody because your star players are struggling or hurt or whatever, not having a great game, somebody like Johnson did last week.
Yeah.
Johnson
played today.
And he played okay today. He caught a couple of screen passes or whatever, a couple of runs. But he didn't have the game he had last week because Chubb was featured today.
Yeah.
But nobody stepped up on either side of the ball. Nobody made a pick. Nobody made a fumble recovery. Nobody really sacked Roethlisberger in a critical situation to keep him. How many? It seemed like we gave up first downs on third down every time, but they didn't have a very good record on third down either. So, but. We had possessions. We got them off the field. We had possessions that we couldn't take advantage. And we had a healthy kicker, and we chose not to.
They didn't even.
The first
they
one.
They didn't even have a kicker.
Yeah.
If we could have just scored, then they would have forced them to have to go down and score a full touchdown, and I think our defense would have stopped them. But I feel like I don't know, guys. I just feel like we have talent. We have talent in very specific positions. But the bottom line is, we're not that good.
Yeah, as a team. As
a unit, we're not that good. And, JOK and Denzel Ward and Kareem Hunt and those guys being out and then Conklin getting hurt in the middle of the game. Do those things hurt us? Absolutely. So I'm not saying that at full strength. If you give me the full strength Cleveland Browns, the Kansas City Cleveland Browns plus Odell Beckham, are we better than this? 100%. But this injured 70% Browns, it's not that good.
Right.
And it's inexcusable to lose that game today. So now we're 4-4 and we're mediocre. We're 8 games into this NFL season, and I got to tell you guys, 8 games in, I'm not super optimistic about what we can do here. I'm not saying that I don't think we can make the playoffs or that's not possible or whatnot. I mean, it's certainly possible. But we have a monster schedule coming up. Monster. And the only layup I see on the schedule, the only single layup we have for the rest of the season is the Lions. That is it.
Crushed today.
That is the only game we have that should be an automatic win. Bet your life savings on the win.
That might be the game that they get off the schneid against us. Who knows?
I
thought it would be today that they would win, but they got...
any given Sunday, there's going to be a team that's going to win.
Yeah, true.
And we have Ravens twice, Bengals twice, Packers on Christmas. I mean, guys, it's not going to get any easier. The easy is gone. Now it is the time that you got to show up and do it. 9 games to go. Roger King, we're 4-4, 9 games to go. Season's not over. I'm not saying it's over. I'm saying that it's not looking good. And I'm not saying that I want to lose. I don't want to lose the last 9 games. I want to win them. But I think this is like an 8-9, 9-8 team. I think this is a mediocre at best team, guys. And if we end up with like a sub 10 win team, we're not going to make the playoffs. And then we go into next season going, what are we going to do with this team? Are we going to go into it with 30-year-old Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham? Are we going to go 5 years with Baker and then figure it out? I think we are. I think we go 5 years with Baker. Gary Washington, can't trade Odell. Value's too low. I absolutely agree. He's worth nothing. Like, we're not going to trade Odell for some killer linebacker. Like, it doesn't exist. He's got to be worth something. When I think about the guys on offense who are worth anything on our offense, we have a couple offensive linemen that are worth a lot, and we have Nick Chubb. And everybody else is worth, nothing.
Expendable.
Nothing. Jarvis and Odell are worth nothing. Hooper's worth nothing. And Njoku's worth nothing. We don't have a Travis Kelce. We don't have the kid from the Bengals. I don't know, Chase, Jamar Chase, I guess his name. What's his name?
Yeah.
We don't have a killer. We have Nick Chubb, who's banged up
And a hurt Hunt.
and Dearness Johnson, who's doing his best, and an offensive line that keeps getting banged up. I mean, guys, we have a mediocre team. You are looking at average Browns, and we want to be great Browns. We saw flashes of great Browns last year, or an opportunity.
We improved a lot personnel-wise, but it just it shows you that even though you bring in that much talent on defense, it doesn't mean it's automatically going to click. You still have to have the players not get hurt. You still have to have them know a good scheme. You have to call a good game. And, have to make the plays when the ball comes and hits you in the hands and you don't intercept the ball. That's a problem. We didn't throw one time. Maybe that desperation throw that Baker had towards the end, maybe that was the one he got the roughing the passer on. I don't remember. But he threw it, 35 yards down, and Odell tried to make a one-hand catch at the end. That was the longest pass that we made all day. We didn't challenge them deep, one time with every speed or whatever we could have mustered. So how do you push the defense back if you're not going to test them long? Even if try to get a penalty thrown, so that we can get a penalty flag.
And for Roger and Jimbo are saying fire Joe Woods. I mean, I was the same way. I was pissed off at Joe Woods today with playing his soft-ass defense, but the bottom line is 15 points is a winnable amount of points in the NFL. 15 points, you can win games. And Stefanski's not off the hook, but the bottom line is we had drop passes. We had drop passes that killed us. And then we had penalties that we didn't have a lot of penalties, but when they were called, the situations that we got into, that makes it that much harder. So all right, guys. Well, we're gonna call it because we're getting tired.
Yep.
We've been at it for a while. It's 6:00.
Right.
We'll see you guys on Wednesday for the Wednesday show. We love you all.
All right. Take care, guys. Go Brownies. Let's hope for a rebound against the Bengals next week.
Yeah. Go Browns.